Hey y'all, it's Chris with Rockin Farm, and I've been shooting a lot of video recently, just kind of stuff that I'm doing or stuff that the family's doing, projects that I've got going on, and I kind of take a look at all the raw footage, and then you start seeing little pieces where it's like, okay, this would make a fairly good video segment, and this would make a fairly good video segment. So that's why I have to come back in and shoot intros. So what you're about to see is a DIY chicken water for under $10. It's the way I do it around here. It's quick and easy. I hope you enjoy. So I've got one more little project that I need to jump on real quick. And I mean, that, for those of you who don't live on homesteads, don't live on farms, don't have a rural lifestyle, it's never ending. Like, you have a goal to do A, B, and C, but G and Q and L are all going to pop up during the day. It's kind of a long-standing joke amongst homesteaders and farmers that you sit down in the morning, you have your coffee, you have your eggs, you have your bacon, and you plan out the day. And then you step outside the door and everything changes. Whether it's weather changing your plans or walking out the door and just all of a sudden seeing like, oh, I have chickens everywhere. Let's go find out why. Your plans always change. So these little monsters here are going through this 1 gallon water every few hours. I filled that thing up at 1 o'clock. It is now 4 and it's about halfway gone. And I think it's because they're not eating quite as much right now, because I filled it up at, let me see, my son filled this up at 7 this morning. I filled it up at 9, 11, and 1. So every 2 hours, and now it's been closer to 4 hours and it's only about half empty. So they're slowing down a little. So obviously 1 gallon water is not going to work. I can't keep coming out here 5 or 6 times a day, even though it's good because I get to check on them. It's just not good. I bought this 3 gallon water, which theoretically should get me through about a third or a half of the day. But I bought it at an auction, and it was on auction for a reason. You can see how loose it is on the bottom. So when you fill this up with water, air gets in here, and it kind of slowly goes like glunk, and it fills this thing glunk, and it eventually starts overflowing, and then it all just runs out. So I'm going to fix this. I'm going to figure out a little seal that I can drop down. Let me see if I can get this off one-handed. I'm gonna figure out some sort of a little seal that I can run along the edge in here. Maybe just a bead of silicone even would work, just to kind of fill that gap so air is not being sucked up into it and it has a tight fit between the top and the bottom. But in the meantime, I want to go even bigger. I want to go 5 gallons of water. So let me show you something. I've got this 5 gallon water right here, and we just leave it outside as an extra water source for the guineas. The guineas basically never drink out of it, but the dogs drain it once every 2 or 3 days. Y'all, what is it with these animals? The pigs eat the chicken food, the chickens eat the dog food, the dogs eat the pig food. Like, what the heck, y'all? I may as well buy one kind of feed and feed every animal on my homestead just one kind of feed. It would be way cheaper in the long run. I swear, none of these animals eat the food that they're supposed to eat. So back to the water, 5 gallon water, and I do just want to leave this out here. I want to leave it out here for the guineas. I got this when I was brand new to homesteading, and I paid out the teeth for it because I bought it like during chick days at all of your local, Tractor Supplies and all your local feed stores. So they're selling chicks like crazy. So then they bring out all the waters and they're full price. And I was brand new, so I didn't know any better. So I think I paid $40 or $45 for this thing. Well, y'all, we're going to make a 5 gallon water and it's going to cost me about $8. So that's the project I got to do real quick so that I can get these birds some water. All right, so here's what goes into a 5 gallon water bucket from wherever. This one, I think everybody knows. Where does orange buckets always come from? Home Depot. So this is a Home Depot bucket. I don't care what bucket you got. I don't care if it's a 4 gallon bucket or a 3 gallon bucket. Get yourself a bucket. Make sure that it does have a lid so it doesn't get all gunky and nasty inside. These little chicken waters, they work great. The chickens figure out how to use them really quick. They're attracted to the, I don't, to be honest with you, I don't think they're really attracted to this little thing. I think they're attracted to the water that's pooled in the bottom of it. But as they get in here and they're pecking at the water, when they hit this little yellow thing, it releases more water into the cup. Even baby chicks figure these out really quick. These, it's a 12 pack. You can get it on Amazon, and I think it's $7 for 12 of them. So y'all, they're cheap. They're super cheap. And I've got some used ones back here. These were on an old water that the bucket split. So, you know, even if you got to make a couple of these a year, they still just turn out so much cheaper than that big sucker out there. So you got a couple of bucks in the bucket. You've got $7 in these. Theoretically, for most people's uses, you can make 2 waters out of the 12. You know, if you put 6 of these around it, that's pretty good. I'm going to put several of them around it, probably upwards of 12. And so I'm going to use the majority of these on this one bucket because I've got 30 birds in there and I want them all to have access to the water. But like I said, $2 into the bucket, $2 into the bucket, $7 into those. Let's say you get 2 buckets, so that's 4. We're looking at $11 for 2 waters. Now, you can make these things into self-filling, and you know what? I'll show you that real quick too. So here's my old one that split, and basically what split is one of these holes cracked. And it just started leaking really bad to where I was wasting a ton of water and making a mess in the chicken yard. So here's an old one, and if you look on the back, I've got a fitting here with a bulkhead and a hose attachment. And on the inside, just like your toilet bowl, the water fills up, and when this guy here floats, it cuts off the water. So then as the chickens drink and the water level goes down, it'll start to fill again and then cut itself off. Now, for these baby chicks, I'm not going to run a hose into this room. So I'm just going to fill up a 5-gallon bucket with water. It'll weigh about 45 pounds. You know, I can just carry it over here to them. My wife probably isn't going to be able to fill this up and carry it across the chicken yard and over the threshold and lift it over the fence and all that other stuff. But that's okay. You know, I can do it. My son can do it. And to be honest with you, my wife could do it. It's just that she's my princess and I don't like to ask her to do that kind of stuff. So this isn't going to be self-filling, but that doesn't mean that I won't just throw the hardware in here and make it self-filling later on down the road. For right now, it's just going to be a static water bucket, 5 gallons at a time. You can see on this one here, I put these things really low. And it's because this is the first one I ever built. And I was afraid, like, I want the water down as low as possible so that there's never any water sitting in the bottom. It's always being cycled through. Well, I've discovered that it really doesn't make a difference. And when you put them down this low, you have to set them up on some bricks or something. So what you do is, this is your flat surface, set them up a little higher. You know, I mean, we're probably a good inch higher. And then that way you can just set the bucket down on the ground and it doesn't need to be on bricks. All you need is a 5/16 drill bit. Drill your holes, pop your stuff in, pop your watering cups in, and call her good. So I'm going to set the camera down real quick and throw this thing together, and y'all see how fast it really does go together. All right, so I ended up with 8 holes. I probably could have done my math a little bit better and gotten a few more out of it. Not the end of the world. 8 holes, 5 gallons of water. There's as much watering surface around this thing as there was anyhow, so we'll be good. And basically, you drill the hole a little bit smaller than the end of this tip, so that when you squeeze it in here, and then twist it the rest of the way in, you get a nice tight fit. So we'll just do that all the way around. All right, there we go. So you can see the bucket can sit flat. The cups aren't touching the ground or inhibiting the way that the bucket sits on the ground at all. I've got 8 cups all the way around here. If I really want to go nuts, you know, I mean, I could fit some more cups in here, and I might. So I'll fill it up with water. I'll set it in there. I'll teach the birds how to drink out of it. And if I see that there's not enough watering cups, well, I know I can add one more in there. I can probably fit one here. I can fit one here. So I can put, you know, 3 or 4 more on here. That's it though, y'all. I mean, you can see it's not like I measured real good. It's just you slap it together, you fill it up with 5 gallons of water, you teach the birds how to use it, and now, let me see, that 1 gallon water, if my son fills it up at 7 a.m., it will not need to be filled up at 9, 11, 1. So I'll probably fill it up when I come out here to get the eggs at 4. And as the birds get bigger, they're going to drink more water. So I'll probably take the remaining cups and make a second one. And then they'll just have 10 gallons of water sitting in there for them. I talked to my buddy Jack over at the Mindful Homestead. He said that his 50 birds were going through 13 gallons of water a day. So my 32 birds, if I've got 10 gallons of water here for them, they should be just fine even when they reach their adult stage. All right, so I got the water in place. I got the cups filled up. I'm going to hang out for a little while, see if the chicks figure it out. The cups are full of water, so hopefully they'll be attracted to the water. Once they start drinking out of it, the cups fill themselves back up. So you don't really have to teach them anything. You just have to teach them that that's where they go to get water. Nothing goes to waste on the homestead. As you can see, I took the black lid, threw it on the Home Depot bucket. I'll take the guts out of this, the self-watering guts out of this, add a few more holes to the bottom, and next year a tomato is going to get planted in this bad boy. Yes, I paid $1 for this, and it doesn't hold water. Oh no, I wasted $1. But I didn't waste $1. I'm gonna put a bead of silicone around that inside edge and see if that just fills that gap. And then I've got me a 3-gallon water, a 1-gallon water, a 5-gallon water, and a couple of homemade 5-gallon waters. You can never have too much water on a homestead. So there you have it, DIY chicken water. You can make a couple of them for around $12, so they're under 10 bucks a piece. Simple, easy, efficient, they work. And then I also showed you how you can make it a self-watering one if you want to. This is nothing unique to me, y'all. A lot of people make bucket chicken waters. It's just that maybe some of you follow my channel that don't follow other channels that have shown how to do it. So there you have it. So go out and make yourself a bucket, save yourself some money. Don't waste your money on all those really expensive chicken waters they have in the stores. And until I see y'all again, be happy and live healthy.